Hello guys, it's your boy AD back with another video. Now today's the living life now to help twin sister and neglected part 2. So yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys thought of this series so far. And I actually have made this series into like a fan fiction, so I'll be putting the link in the description down below to that. But yeah, anyways, before we start, I wanna ask you guys something. Not really ask, just like tell you guys something really. But yeah, anyways, I've been working on a script for another series. I'm not sure when I'll release it, to be honest, but yeah, this series and that other series will be my main focus for right now. But yeah, the other series will be basically what if Naruto was like basically the ruler of Hekomundo, which is like the hollow place. So obviously Naruto will be a hollow. It's not gonna be like Aizen or like he's gonna be like a Shinigami that goes to Hekomundo or anything like that. He'll be like an actual hollow and kind of become a hollow god to a degree. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, that series will be coming out some point in the future. But yeah, that one will have a harem as well, which will be always see a harem of like a raincoat and a spider and shit like that. Pretty much won't say spellers, to be honest. I don't even think I'm really add any raincoats. But yeah, hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. And yeah, anyways, without further ado, let's get the video started.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach.
Yeah. Chapter 2, The Kingdom of Pain. Before I start, I just want to say that all of the girls in Naruto's harem for this series in particular will actually be bisexual, and so there will be some girl x girl action from time to time in this series. This includes Mito, but yeah, Naruto is still very much the main guy, the only guy of this harem. But some of the girls are like actually not in the kingdom with him right now, which means they're gonna have to like, do it with the other girls that are still working for Naruto, that are basically with them, man. But yeah, anyways, and even some of the girls in the kingdom might be doing some of that action as well. But yeah, anyway, I was just putting that as a little warning to a degree. But yeah, 5 years has passed and there was a new enemy on the rise, Death, the king of the kingdom of pain, and his angel that goes by the angel of death. Yes, it was a duel of the god known as Death himself and his angel of death. The danger world had been relatively peaceful for the most part, though the five great nations were in great tension as all the nations had been suspicious of Konoha and were worried that they would do something big, but they did not know of whether that was the true threat or not. That had been going over the years, and they were not ready to take their first steps. Lands of Demons, Kingdom of Pain, main sleeping chambers. Oni-chan, 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 screamed a female voice who sounded like she was enjoying herself. I'm coming, said a more manly voice who seemed to be enjoying himself just as much. There was a dripping noise and two people screamed in great pleasure as they both ended up pretty exhausted as the female dropped to the bed naked not long after the male landed on her and started to kiss her furiously, and they enjoyed the taste of each other's mouth basically. Look at the mess you made, sis, the male voice said with a smirk on his face. Hearing that, the girl blushed and smirked as she decided to take back at the guy. You know you enjoyed it and you made most of it yourself. Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Really, then, how about we do this until you can't move, the girl said, as she grabbed onto the guy's junk and started to shook it, making the male tense up. Time skip, 5 hours later. Pain Kingdom's main sleeping chambers. The same girl was on the giant bed, her hair all messy with her hair, along with most of her body being covered with semen, with a dazed look in her eyes. The male looked very tired but looked more conscious than the other. The male suddenly got up and picked up the girl, but she didn't even flinch to show any hints of being scared or hesitate or anything with of the sort. As with any other girls would be, the man just picked. Oh my gosh. Any other girl would be if a man just picked them up, especially while they were naked. The man carried the young girl in a private bath slash, like basically bathroom slash bathhouse. He put her in the pool-sized bathtub and trained her in the bathtub, basically. Time skip. Pain Kingdom on a giant statue made of vibranium. Naruto stood on top of the head of the statue. He had on a vibranium clothes in his cloak had the kanji for death on it. Next to Naruto was his sister Mito. She had on vibranium clothes as well. The top looked like a fishnet long sleeveless shirt, and over it was a cloak with the kanji for angel of death on it, and she had a long black, like basically had long black socks, with one of them having the kanji for Kingdom of Pain and the other one having the kanji for Queen. She had a black short which showed off her very well developed assets, with the kanji for happy on it. Basically, what she's wearing is the same fishnet clothing right here, but with a cloak over it, like that. But instead of it being orange, it's all black with the kanji for Angel of Death. And yeah. All of Naruto's and Mito's clothing are made out of pure vibranium, but theirs is more advanced where like they have like special abilities. Kind of how the Black Panther can like do special things. They can have stuff like that, but it doesn't particularly have to be exactly the same thing. But it's more advanced than the warriors, like the girls in Wakanda that have the spears and stuff. Yeah, it's more advanced than theirs, but yeah. Mito and Naruto looked down at their massive army. The army was filled with men and women alike, and even some children, though there was not nearly as much as the adults, and they were all seemed to be very strong for children, but they also were not underage kids. They were all 13 plus, which is the age to be considered an adult in the Pain Kingdom. Basically 13 is also the age of consent in Japan, and that is the age I'll be following for this series and basically all my other series, because they're about animes and animes are mostly from there. So yeah, the army listened to the speech that the king and his queen was having as they looked at the giant vibranium statue of Naruto holding a weird special looking sword. There was something very odd about the weapon, but it seemed to be Naruto's main weapon, but something just seemed very odd about it. The army cheered as they listened to their beloved king and queen's speech to motivate them. My people, today is a day that shall go down in history as today we of the Kingdom of Pain shall make our first move on the world and let the people of the world know pain. They will be forced to their knees and have no chance against us. The world itself will bow down to us. Many cheers were heard as the army cheered with all their might. Naruto and Mito smiled, remembering how the massive army all came to be. But before anything could happen, they were snapped out of their tar as a man with long spiky red hair, grey armor, and a very demonic aura on him came up to them. My lord, the aircraft are ready to deploy. Naruto nodded approvingly. Let us go then. Naruto and Mito walked away from the statue to the to the world long flight to basically it's like the ship you see right here, this one right here. So yeah, it's basically that, yeah, right here. So yeah, anyways, sorry about that. They walk up to the personal, like, it's basically the personal royal airship made for Naruto and Mito. Though other people do ride it when giving permission, but the the right hand man of Naruto, Kurama the Nine-Tailed Fox, which is basically the guy with red hair who Naruto basically made him get human form. The Nine-Tailed Fox and Naruto's other females, basically the other girls that Naruto were with, and that he basically had sexual relationship with, like Karin Uzumaki, Taria Uzumaki, Ken Tsushi, Shion. She had been approached by Naruto and Mito, and they explained that they had planned to use the sorry about that interruption. Something came up, so I had to like stop the video for a while. But yeah, anyways, Shion had been approached by Naruto and Mito, and they explained that they planned to use basically the vibranium that the people had not been able to use since the time of the Clan War, as the vibranium like meteorite landed in the wall, basically like the Clan Wall type area. So yeah, after they had helped her kill the demon Moro, basically Shion, asked Naruto to help her pass down her bloodline, and Naruto accepted, and so on. But yeah, Pakua, she had been saved by Mito, and she started a relationship with her, as Pakua had started to have distrust, like basically didn't really trust men as much, as the whole team that betrayed her along with the elders were basically old men. But soon she got over that fear by getting with Naruto as well. Kazahana Koyuki, she had been saved by Naruto after she left Snow Country to go to a leaf. She had encountered Naruto and Mito, killing one of her grandfather's highest ranked ninjas, and she asked for their help, and they helped her become the leader of Snow. And they basically had a threesome in her palace. Zuku, Naruto, and Mito went to what's it called, Nadeshiko village. Naruto beat her in a 1v1, making her be put in a marriage with him. They sealed the deal with like basically the same night with a threesome with her, Naruto, and Mito, and she soon became the leader of Nadeshiko village, and eventually fell for Naruto and Mito and the other girls in the harem. And if you don't know who basically Shizuka is, she's kind of a side character. She's basically that one girl that Jiraiya made that deal with her sensei to like marry whoever her student, like to have a fight with her student, and if his disciple beat her disciple, they would marry, obviously, because that was like the rule of her village. And it ended up being her, and she was like basically some kind of princess to that village, and Naruto beat her, but what's it called, he didn't marry her. But yeah, sadly. Anyways, Guren, she was saved by Naruto and fell for him after explaining to her how Orochimaru was just using her and did not really care for her or her brother. Fu, the seven-tailed Jinchuriki, she had actually became a perfect Jinchuriki after joining Naruto and Mito, but before that, she had been unable to defend herself, and was violated in all ways but sexually, which would have happened were it not for Mito coming in like a shining light of death, she had killed all the men that were going to use food for their enjoyment, and she comforted food. And not long after, she started to date Mito, and even dated with her, and developing a very sadistic side that she did not have before, and gained the ability to make an basically an army of bugs, insects. But she had to get a vessel to go to her army, or use the random ones that she finds in the ground. But she enjoyed making new child, as she was considered the queen of all the insects, and there are some of the girls of the harem that shall not be named for the time being. But yeah, basically these are the girls that were like allowed to into the world spaceship, and also the ones of Naruto and Mito. So yeah, Naruto walked down the giant alleyway under a carpet alongside Mito. They soon as they entered the spaceship to see Karen, Fun, Guen, and Pakura. They were all sitting in a spaceship waiting for the king and queens. So, we are starting the process of world domination, said Guen as she licked a popsicle. Don't ask why she had that. Naruto simply nodded as he sat on one of the floating chairs. We will start by taking over Iwagakure. If you don't know who that is, that's basically Stone Village. So yeah, and Stone Country in general, Earth Country, whatever. Then we will move on from there. Oni-chan, can I really use these people down there as I please? Said Mito in a sweet, pleading voice with a face that matched her voice. But what she was asking and what she had planned was absolutely the opposite of that face. Yes, you can do as you wish with the ones that are too stubborn and won't follow us. Yeah, you're the best. You're the best, Oni-chan, Mito said, as she gave Naruto a quick kiss on the cheek before she started to celebrate with Fu and started to make out, but they slipped and fell with Fu on top of her as they started to get more into it. Naruto just watched the scene in front of him. It was honestly quite hot and got him quite turned on. And Guen saw this and she slipped away. Gwen saw this and she basically sneaked her way to Naruto and undid his pants and started to basically please him using his giant popsicle that barely fit in her mouth. Karen saw this and joined in as she started to basically play with his balls, basically with Pakura started to kiss him while he played with her boobs basically with one hand and used his other hand to basically play with Karen's private, very like her basically private area. Anyways, time skip. 3 hours later, a massive amount of fluid came shooting out of all the girls as they had basically a squirting orgasm. Naruto had been doing all of them for 3 hours, which was not enough to satisfy them or himself, but enough to keep them calm for now. Naruto had let out a river of semen on the girls, and as they mixed with the girls' fluid, the room smelled like wild animals had been let loose in a sex department. Naruto got up and picked up his sister, and they went to the spaceship bath to get themselves cleaned up. Meanwhile, Konoha Gakure. Minato had watched as Menma grew up, and to say that he was spoiled was basically saying you weren't now. Menma had gotten the major training from Jiraiya, who came by time to time. Each time, he trained Menma as much as possible. When Jiraiya left, Menma was trained by Tsunade, and Menma was also trained by Kakashi most of the time, but also Minato when he had the time to. Menma basically thought he owned the world and was spoiled to the maximum degree possible. Menma was considered a prodigy in Konoha, and he was in his and he was in his own right, but he was more overconfident than anything. Mema had been a rookie of the year in the academy with Sasuke as his rival and second best in the academy. In Konoha of the year, Hanabi Hyuga, she's 2 years younger than Hinata in this one. And lastly, Yakumo Kurama, she was not as high as Hanabi, but she had a special Kiki Genkai that made her able to make genjutsus into reality, which was very deadly. But it's in exchange, she had a weak physical strength, physical body in general, and had a demon in her, which tried to take over her, especially when she used her Kiki Genkai, and she passed on only on genjutsu, and so was put in the middle due to the lack of uh, taijutsu, fuenjutsu, and all the other jutsus. So yeah, and yeah, she basically had always created what? Oh yeah, she always carried a flute to her to her side, but never used it in battle, only to herself, and had always painting materials, which consist of paint, brushes, and yeah, she used them in battle to create her genjutsus. Team 7, which had Sasuke, Minma, Yakumo, and Hanabi, was especially made for combat, as Sasuke was the freaking Uchiha, it's like the eye, the Sharingan, the Jutsu and shit, and pretty decent taijutsu. Minma was like the chakra freak of the thing, and Hanabi was like here to disable and defend and attack to some degree, but mostly that was like for disabling people. And Yakumo was for support and genjutsu and interrogation as well. So yeah. Anyways, Team 7 had gotten a special mission to go to the Land of Wave as a C rank mission. They completed it, but it became a A rank, but they had made it in the end. They basically succeeded in the end. Then Team 7 was put in the tuning exam, where they all passed and became tuning. Many girls tried asking Sasuke out, but he refused, as he was more interested in killing his brother for revenge. But he was far too weak for that. But he was hoping for his one or both his female teammate to ask him out, but that never happened. He wanted to rebuild his clan with Hanabi because she was strong and her Byakugan was quite pure, and if a Sharingan mixed with the Byakugan, it would be basically stronger. And he also wanted Yakumo because her Genjutsu Genkai would make the kids, so if somebody gets put in the Genjutsu by just looking at them, and it'll become reality basically. So it'll be pretty OP when you think about it. So yeah. But after all the plans Sasuke had, they failed for one simple fact. None of the girls had any love for him, and they hated him quite a lot. He had been basically quite a dickhead to them, as after the exam, Sasuke had approached the two girls who were almost always together because Yakumo had a weak body. She was not crippled and could walk, but she tried to save what little strength she had and used to basically use in fight instead of wasting them in daily life. So she used a wheelchair. Hanabi was pushing her around most of the time, but Sasuke came and tried to grab her forcefully, but she had used a genjutsu. She had tried to use the genjutsu, but she gasped as she grabbed onto her head and screamed as Idol, which is basically Yakumo's demon, if you didn't know, basically came out of her and attacked Sasuke and chased him away. This had Yakumo be stuck in the hospital for a week to recover from like the little mental damage that Idol did, but not really at the same time. Hanabi had beaten up Sasuke for hurting her friend and stayed in the hospital with her. Sasuke did not get the curse mark in the exams, so he did not leave the village, but he stayed and trained with Kakashi, but that also means he was much weaker. So yeah. Kakashi and a lot of special Jonins had trained Sasuke. Hanabi and Yakumo trained together, with Yakumo also taking time to draw paintings to basically make her be able to draw faster so that her genjutsu can be placed way faster, to be able to cast it faster and more precise and harder to be able to break free from. But both girls harshly refused Sasuke each time he tried to basically hit on them. Mema had been dating Hinata, so he did not go after any of the girls, but tried to make Hanabi suffer to make Hinata happy, as Hinata hated her a lot. And one day, in one way he did this was by physically hurting or verbally abusing her or Yakumo, as he knew that as he knew that she cared about Yakumo. So yeah, not long after, they got a mission to go to get to go on Tanzuku Bridge and get Orochimaru. Surprisingly, as he wanted to join them, as he had not attacked the village at all in this one and started to help train Sasuke, while Orochimaru started to train Sasuke in the village, as he had to join the ranks of the relief. So yeah, while Menma trained with Jiraiya and Tsunade. So yeah, unknown location. We see Hanabi walking with a calm look on her face as she pushed Yakumo, who was on her wheelchair. Their hair moved as the gentle wind blew in the grassy field. Hanabi suddenly stopped as she got on top of a small grassy hill. She took I definitely should have said this earlier, but it's pretty obvious by now. But there's definitely 18% in this, so yeah. But I'm pretty sure I said this in the first part, so yeah, it should apply to the rest of the series. But yeah, anyways, yeah, she took out a storage scroll in a camping tent. Yakumo started painting something, but Hinabi was not focused on that. Instead, she took out 5 other scrolls and unsealed different things from each one of them. One of them had food in it, other one had cooking utensils, another one had clothing in it, another one had towels, another one had soaps, another had shampoo and other stuff, and the last one had a small portable bed. It's a nice view, isn't it? Yes, I like it very much, and I will make a painting to keep it with me all the time. I know this is a special place for you after all. Yes, it is very special to me, and more important than anything in this world. After all, that is where I met him. Yakumo suddenly drew a line in her painting, in a portal which was shaped like the line appeared in front of her. She put her hand in it and took out a painting. You see this castle? This is where I used to hate the most in the entire world. I hate it more than anything. As you see, I was stuck there ever since my parents died. I was put in prison, and in a constant mental war with idol, which was very hard for me and made me have a great hatred for the place. My previous sensei and the village as a whole, but they all changed when he came. He saved me from that place and made me be able to use my demon in battle and work with her. Fix my problems of being physically weak, and most importantly, give me a purpose. Yes, he gave me one, and I don't have any intent. Yeah. Yes, he gave me one too, and I don't have any intention of letting him down, Hanabi said with a determined look in her eyes. The two stayed silent for a long minute, thinking about the person they cared for the most in the world and how he had helped them so much. Yakumo suddenly got up, walked up to Hanabi and started to basically kiss her as they had a quick battle for dominance with their tongues, but soon she won and pushed Hanabi on her chair and they start and here in the puddle. Hanabi uh got up with Yakumo's arms and leg wrapped around Hanabi's waist and neck. Hanabi dropped her on the back and to the bed on the bed on her back and started to basically kiss her again, and this time her being the winner of the tongue battle. They continued to kiss until Hanabi separated, gasping for air as saliva dripped from her mouth, dropping onto Yakumo. Hanabi got off of Yakumo and sat back, and she started to play with one of her boobs, which was very well developed for her age. Yakumo spread Hanabi's legs open as she to see her pennies was basically wet and was even dripping fluids. Yakumo smiled and took a deep breath as she smelled a delightful smell. Freaking hell. A delightful smell. Fucking hell. Yakumo smiled and took a deep breath as she smelled the delightful smell of Hanabi's. Basically, yeah. Yakumo used one of her fingers and started to rub Hanabi's sweet spot, making her feel good. Soon she pushed. Freaking hell. Shoot. Oh, sorry about that. Soon she pushed her finger in as she pulled Hanabi's panties down, and she slowly went in deeper in her partner. Let's call it that. As the finger started to go deep in Hanabi, and she started to moan in pleasure, Yakumo smirked as she pushed two fingers instead of one, and she started to go in deeper than previously. And Yakumo suddenly pulled out her finger from Hanabi. Oh, so you freaking hell. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. Oh, so he took your virginity. Yes, and he took it a while back. Also, freaking hell. Yeah, and he took it a while back. Also, the second best day of my life, and one of the most wild ones too. Yeah, he is pretty wild. As she remembered how she had been ravished by him destroying the bed that they had used, she blushed slightly and spread her legs to see the sticky substance on them. Yakumo licked her fingers and drank the fluid as she licked. Freaking hell. As she. Fucking hell, why did I do this? As she liked the sweet taste of Hanabi's fluids very much. She got closer to Hanabi's sweet spot and started to eat her out and push her tongue inside of her, and she drank as much of the fluid as possible. As Yakumo licked her sensitive spot and played with it, and she felt the fluid being sucked out of her, the more the pleasure and squeeze. 10 minutes later, Hanabi suddenly put her hand on the back of Yakumo's head, and she screamed in pure pleasure as she came into Yakumo's mouth. Yakumo drank all of the godly fluid. After the stream stopped, Yakumo felt Hanabi's hand come off her head, and she heard her collapse on the bed. As she looked up, she saw something quite unexpected. She saw white liquid coming from Hanabi's pink nipples. She smirked. Oh yeah, Hanabi dear, I didn't know you could milk, she said with a smirk as she started to basically suck on Hanabi's nipples and finger herself with one hand while she played with and squeezed Hanabi's other breast. Time skip. Finally, this is the end of the lemon. Time skip. Hokage Tower, Team 7. I have a special mission for you. This is an excellent mission because it is potentially dangerous and very important. What is this mission, Hokage-sama? Hanabi asked, even though she did not really care. You must go to Iwagakure and give this scroll to the Tsuchikage. Why is this an excellent mission? Is there no if there's no fighting in the mission and we're only supposed to deliver a stupid scroll? The dumbass duckhead Uchiha asked. It's because you might get attacked by all of Iwa and the Land of Stone, and this is a peace treaty between villages, so it is very important. Is that all, Hokage-sama? Kakashi asked, sounding very much more serious, and he did not have his book out in his hand. You will be accompanied by a squad of Umbu. Hi, Hokage-sama. Iwagakure. Freaking hell, what is it? Sorry. Iwagakure. Naoto-sama said a feminine voice. Did you make sure that no one is listening to us? Yes, I used my ability and there is no one within a mile radius of me. Good. Then when will the attack begin, Naoto-sama? It shall begin in 5 hours. I shall make the necessary preparation as you have asked. Good. Make sure nothing goes wrong on your part and tell the others to head back home. Hi, I will let them know. 4 hours and 59 minutes later, the gates of Iwagakure. Konoha's team had just made it there and had given the guards the permission to enter and go to talk to Oniki the Tsuchikage. But something caught their eyes. On their way there, they looked behind a hill of some kind to see a large group of people with black hood over their heads got covered in like a ray of light and just vanished as the light vanished with them. Warship of the Kingdom of Pain. Naruto sat down in his chair with his smirk on his face as his eyes pulsed ever so slightly, as he was excited to begin his and his sister's conquest to conquer the world. Soon, this world will know pain, Naruto said in a menacing voice as his sister stood behind him with a bloodthirsty look on her eyes. And her face, end of chapter 2. So yeah, this is the end of chapter 2, like I just said. Part 2. Chapter 2, whatever. Anyways, yeah, let me know if you guys thought of this part, and sorry about not giving you guys a warning about the lemons and stuff I completely forgot about that somehow. But yeah, anyways, yeah, let me know if you guys thought of this part, and let me know if you guys are interested in seeing the what if Naruto became hollow and kind of became the leader of the hollow / Hekumundo's kind of king or god or whatever you want to call him. But yeah, anyways, I'll probably be releasing that one as a fan fiction as well. If I do, it will be called the new god of Hekumundo. So yeah, anyways, for following you, I'm gonna be off for now. Peace.